My friends, it is finally time for me to talk to you about my ultimate gaming audio setup. The game is playing itself at this point, but what I have here is the result of many months of putting together everything that I need in order to create the ultimate gaming audio setup, and you can replicate this too at home, and we're going to talk about that after we talk about today's video sponsor. My friends, today's video is brought to you by Keeps. Now, I don't know if you know this, but 2 out of 3 guys will experience some form of hair loss by the time they hit 35. It's something that's at the top of my mind, especially as I do tend to go bald from time to time, shaving my hair off. I always check and make sure, am I actually losing my hair now that I'm over the 30 threshold? And Keeps is here to give you the peace of mind to know that you're doing something before the hair loss starts to actually take hold, because the best way to prevent hair loss is to get in on it early. And thanks to Keeps, you don't have to go to the doctor's office. You can visit with one of their doctors online and have the hair loss medication delivered straight to your door. It's easy, and you get the medication every 3 months. And while you may have tried other hair loss products before, never at this price, because Keeps offers generic versions of the only 2 FDA-approved hair loss products out there. Keeps treatments take typically between 4 to 6 months to see results, so it's important to act fast. The sooner you start using Keeps, the more hair you'll save. So if you're ready to take action and prevent some hair loss on your side, go to keeps.com/UFD to save 50% off your first order with them. Again, that's keeps.com/UFD to save 50% on the first order. So some of this has already been in the works for at least 6 months, back when I did my custom build for Project Mercury, and I got these KRK Rocket 5 G3 Silver Edition studio monitors that allowed me to get higher quality audio that I would actually want to listen to, but I was missing a key part of my setup for quite some time because I wanted to integrate all of my sound experience into one. Because the way that I was connecting to the KRK Rockets was through an audio interface, which typically works fine if your only method of consuming content or enjoying whatever you're doing is through a PC, because it connects over a USB interface. So I had this Audient ID4 for quite some time, and it served me really well, but it didn't quite meet all of my needs, whether I wanted to use my in-office TV for watching Netflix or switching over to console exclusive games on my PlayStation like Demon's Souls or Spider-Man. I had to find another solution or use the inbuilt speakers on the TV, which aren't terrible, but really isn't the way that I wanted to go. And that's when our friends over at Apos Audio contacted me and asked me if I wanted to check out this DAC right here, the Topping D90 DAC, and it solves all of my audio problems, allows me to have high fidelity audio no matter what I'm doing with regards to gaming, whether it be on PC, on console with the PS5, the Series X, or if I'm trying to watch some Netflix, or if I just want to play some music off of my phone, because that is the key feature to here that I love so much, but I'll get to that in a second. Actually, before we get into all of the details of the Topping D90 DAC, I do want to talk about the fact that this is probably not for everybody. This is a hefty price piece of hardware. This thing goes for $700 right now, but actually, unfortunately, due to a factory of one of the companies that makes the chips in these things, AKM, they're going to have to raise the price by $50 on January 1st. So it is an expensive piece of hardware, but it allows me to get everything that I need for my man cave setup as opposed to a home theater setup. I don't want 7.1 surround sound in my office because I just don't need it, but actually having studio reference monitors that allow me to edit and play video games and do everything else I want is actually really the key here. So this is a higher end piece of hardware. You're going to need higher end speakers to actually work with it, but the Topping D90 DAC might be the last thing you ever need to purchase. So let's go over the specs. It's got a super high-end AKM DA chip, the AK449 for the actual DAC. It's equipped with an XMOS XU208 USB chip, an AK4118 SPDIF receiver chip, and a CPLD programmable logic chip, which all sounds super fancy. And based on my research looking into what the D90 has, this is some high-end hardware. And actually, based on what I could find, this thing should actually be costing a couple $100s more based on the chips that are actually inside for processing all of the audio. But on a more practical level, what does that mean for the end consumer when I'm playing video games? It allows me to have all of the inputs that I could possibly need. You've got the USB-B XMOS input, an optical input, a coaxial input, an AES input, an IIS input, as well as Bluetooth 5.0, and then you can actually get out single RCA stereo or balanced XLR with 1 or 2 monitors hooked up to it. And those USB and IIS inputs support up to PCM 32-bit 768 kilohertz and DSD 512 native, and the other ones support PCM 24-bit 192 kilohertz, and then Bluetooth 5.0 is PCM 24-bit 96 kilohertz LDAC. Now that's a ton of technical specifications, but essentially what it boils down to is that this is a high-end piece of hardware that sits here at the centerfold of everything that I'm doing. So the way that I currently have it set up for whatever I'm trying to use it for is, number one, I actually run the optical cable out from my television into the D90 DAC, which allows me to do both consoles at the same time because it's going over HDMI into the TV from the PS5, over HDMI into the TV from the Series X. So that way, whatever the TV is playing is getting output on the higher end audio equipment. But then from there, I have my PC that's set behind this entire station set over to the USB connection, which allows me to switch over to that 32-bit interface whenever I want to get that higher quality audio. If I need to do any sort of audio editing, it allows me to do that, or it really just allows me to enjoy some high fidelity music. But a lot of times I'm actually not at this station. I'm at this station right over here, and that's where the Bluetooth makes me super happy and the light on this side makes me super washed out. Because with that Bluetooth 5.0 connection, I can connect via my second computer over there and still play some very good sounding music on these speakers. Or if the computer happens to not be turned on, I can connect my phone over Bluetooth, and with that Bluetooth 5.0 connection, I can get everything that I want in this. This solves all of the limitations that I was having with my audio interface, which only allowed me to kind of use it when I was actively using the PC and having to control Spotify from a different computer and waiting for the Wi-Fi lag and all of that to take place. Now I can use this whatever the situation happens to be. I want to put on some Gilmore Girls on Netflix. Bam, my KRK Rockets are actually playing it out because the optical input allows me to do that. Now, the topping D90 DAC is honestly a piece of audio grade hardware that's probably above my pay grade, and I can't necessarily fully review it. But what I can say is that it's absolutely a feature set that should be considered when you're building out whatever your gaming system happens to be. Because not everything's complete once you have the visuals of whatever monitor or television you're using, and then whatever system you're running things on, there's that audio component as well. And you can choose to go with a headset, which most gamers tend to do, but I personally enjoy the more open air sound of playing things off of speakers because it actually feels like it's immersing me into the world. When I'm driving down the highway in Cyberpunk 2077, listening to some of the music that's been invented for this game, it makes me feel like I'm actually part of Night City as opposed to having it over my head and playing for long hours and then getting headphone fatigue. It creates a more full experience in my mind, and that's where the D90 DAC really allows me to get to the fullness of the gaming experience that I want to create for myself in my man cave. Driving in this game sucks. Yeah, that's great. And one of the beautiful things that Topping has done is a remote. It sounds simple, but it allows you to control everything, whether it's the inputs that you're actually working with, whether it be optical or Bluetooth. You can simply change from here, control the volumes if you want, as well as mute it in case you want to take care of that. This honestly is the complete experience. I honestly think I'm done with building out my gaming section of my man cave. I have the audio set up on with the D90 DAC. I probably could use higher end monitors than these. The reason I got these was because they were silver and they kind of fit with the Mercury theme build. But they're actually really, really good, and with the proper DAC driving them, it comes across as a really great experience. I have all of the consoles, I have all the PCs, I have an OLED television. This is my ultimate gaming setup, including the audio aspect of it. And let's not forget to talk about the build quality of this DAC. Solid metal, feels really good. It comes in black and silver. I personally would have preferred the silver, obviously, because it would have matched my monitors better, but Apos Audio sent over the black one, which still goes really great because it kind of matches the TV at that point or the isolation pads that I have set up on the monitor. So I'll leave an affiliate link to Apos Audio because they are the ones who sent over the DAC for me to check out. You can check them out at the link in the video description, or you could potentially check out the sister to the D90 DAC and get the A90 headphone amplifier to get a really good headphones experience in case you don't want more of that open sound that you're gonna get from driving speakers. So I'm excited that this video has been done because this has been a long time coming, me getting this entire room set up, especially with Reece and Catlin being gone. This has just been a journey of me figuring out how do I, number one, be a content creator all on my own again, but then number two, how do I do that in such a small space when we're not having a dedicated office. And these single one-stop solutions kind of help me to make that happen, whether it's a height adjustable desk or, you know, cameras that are mounted on boom arms in this room. It allows me to kind of get a flexibility that I desperately need during this time where it's a more solo operation here for UFD Tech. Again, big thanks to Apos Audio for sending over the D90 DAC. I do want to remind you that if you pick it up today when the video goes live, then it's only going to cost you $699. However, starting as of January 1st, due to the fires at AKM, it is going to go up in price just because of supply issues at this point, which it's unfortunate that happened, but just to give you a little heads up before the price increase goes down. So with that being said, I'm Brett with the UFD Tech channel. Thank you so much for watching my ultimate gaming audio setup, and I'll catch you in the next video. Like and subscribe and do all of the YouTube stuff. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.